Live in Google Hangout, and we're going to talk about innovation, and I think that's one of the most perfect themes to talk about today in a setting here in Amsterdam during TEDx, because innovation, I think, is one of the most crucial parts of today, and not only of today but of course of tomorrow. I've got 5 beautiful guests in this Google Hangout. Everybody welcome. Hi, yeah, you wave.
Nice
That's
to be
cool.
here.
Yeah, very cool. Let's do a short introduction and just act as if we do that for the first time. And now I start again from the left. Who is there?
Hi, my name is Eelco ten Broeke. I work for a company that builds mobile consumer portals in the entertainment field. We allow users to consume entertainment content on mobile phones, and for us, as Boonstra, the company, innovation within the mobile sector is key, especially when it comes to users being able to access content and in a UX that is definitely highly enjoyable and innovative.
And for people that don't know what a UX is?
A user experience, user interface. So how to build the front end of a website or of a mobile website.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Eelco. Next to you, Claire Boonstra. Claire, hi.
Hi.
Give a short introduction. It's good to see you. Give a short introduction who you are.
Yes, I have 2 roles currently. I'm still a co-founder of Layer, and Layer adds digital content to the physical world, whether it's looking around you or whether to make print interactive. But I recently started a new journey, and I am starting an education revolution.
Okay, come back to you how you're going to do that.
Yes.
Next to you is Stephan. Stephan?
Hi, Stephan Massalt. I work for KPN. I won't introduce that further here. And I'm a program manager for what we call application enablement, where we work on a program to work together with third parties, small startups, etc.
Okay, thank you. And next to you is one of the speakers of today, Desiree Dudley. Desiree, nice to see you.
Hi.
Hi. Still a little bit high energy because you were on stage today.
Oh, I think I'm coming down now, actually. So
Okay,
you're advantage or disadvantage, we'll see.
Keep the energy up for the next 20 minutes, please.
Yes, sir.
Give us a short introduction who you are.
Sure.
Oh, audio's gone.
Strategic Relations and Outreach at the Foresight Institute, which is a nonprofit devoted to advancing beneficial emerging technologies. I also work as a consultant in Silicon Valley and more recently have become a mentor for the TL Foundation's 20 Under 20 network.
Okay, Desiree, thank you. And last but not least, at the right is Geert. Geert.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Geert van der Wouw. I am the fund manager for Shell Technology Ventures. We are a very large venture capital fund, a corporate venture capital fund, and we invest in exciting technologies inside and outside Shell, in oil and gas, and in clean and green tech.
So talking about the last one, Geert, how important is, if you're talking about innovation, how important is green for Shell?
Green is important. I mean, in the energy mix, we will see going forward a mosaic of say traditional hydrocarbon energy sources and green sources, including wind, solar, geothermal, and hydrogen, for example, including biofuels. Yeah. So the world's consumption in energy continues to grow, and we'll need every resource available to human mankind to keep up with the growth.
Let's start with one of the discussions we can talk about, and which you hear a lot, is that big organizations are not able to innovate. True or not true? Who wants to react on that one?
Not true.
Yeah, why doesn't surprise me that? Tell me about. But you know, I come into a lot of large organizations, and it's not that I always have the feeling, wow, this is an innovative environment. So explain to me how it is possible, at least within Shell.
Well, I invite you to our research center here in Amsterdam, at the other side of the I, which you'll find quite a spiritual and an interesting place to work. We've got hundreds of researchers here working on a wide variety of energy technologies, But I guess my honest answer to your question, and if it's a mixed bag, I mean, we spend more than $1 billion a year on research, but we also spend a lot of research on projects that we do together with universities, with third-party technology companies, and external researchers and research institutes. So I think you need both in order to have the right balance of technology development in a large company like Shell.
Okay, and Stephan, how is that within KPN? Because I think that innovation is rather crucial to telcos at this stage. So how do you guys innovate?
We still innovate a lot, of course, on our networks and the large innovations, as we say, like rolling out LTE, stuff like that. A lot of research has been done by the bigger suppliers we still use, but we also see that a lot of innovation takes place outside KPN, and especially around startups and small technology companies.
Yeah, because what's your opinion if I say that within large organizations it's difficult to innovate?
It's always difficult in large organizations to innovate because decision making is more complex and timely. But still, when you have a good idea, you can do a lot. You can still do a lot with there.
Claire, already sick of innovation because that's what you guys did extremely the last couple of years. How important was it that you were a startup and small and?
Hey, but now you assume that I'm not going to do any innovation anymore. I'm just about to start something much bigger than everything I did before. But
that I didn't say. I said you did extremely innovative stuff the last couple of years.
Yes.
How important was the atmosphere of a startup?
Extremely important, and I can relate to both the corporate environment and the startup. So I've worked with both KPN and Unilever all the time in so-called innovative environments. I'm sorry I'm doing like this, but I've experienced how hard it is for big companies to innovate, and I've experienced also the freedom, how much speed you can achieve if you are independent or relatively independent. And yes, we obviously innovated a lot, and we've made a lot of iterations and to quickly create something, which is creating a lot of excitement and now also business.
What I do see, and by the way, anybody, if you want to interrupt or add something, then please scream harder than I do. So feel free. But Claire, if I look at your organization, then and I'm an outsider, of course, but now it looks as if you come into a phase where the small startup, innovative, wild club is getting to become a real organization. So is it so that you cannot keep up being a small startup and that someday you also have to become a real organization?
Well, I wonder whether it's necessarily bad. So what we did in the past 3 years is to first create something that is attractive for people to start using in the first place. And if you bring in the business phase too early, you may even kill that phase.
So if you have to earn money in the beginning, that's it's not so handy.
Well, let's say it may. The philosophy of both our investors and us was that once you create something that people want, the money will almost logically follow. So we put everything on just creating this most amazing, fantastic, something you want to buy. And now the company has come to a phase where we need more gradual innovation instead of really drastic turnarounds. And to grow to the next level, we needed a more business-minded type of leadership. So that's why we changed the leadership.
Desiree, is making money stand in the way of innovation? Desiree?
Sorry, I had to unmute. Does making money stand in the way of innovation? That's an interesting question.
Thank you very much. I don't know.
So I think that ultimately capital is both required and an incentive to do anything truly novel and innovative. I think that one of the reasons why actually large companies, it's tricky. There are benefits to both the startup and the large company model. I think one of the reasons why large companies tend to get a bad rap is because inevitably, as an organization gets larger, there are these stopgaps purposefully, and there's more hierarchy and that sort of thing. The most successful innovation in a large company tends to happen in these kind of like special research groups that basically, under the best circumstances, they tend to still have the feeling of an innovative startup within the company, but they're better funded and they have better support. So you'll see companies like Intel or IBM still turn out fantastic research, and still have some of that, some of the some of the best elements of the startup culture with some support of an organization. That said, you are still, you still have some higher, business entity who needs to make money in the short term to answer to, and that's where some people get impatient and they want to create their own startup because they have the choice to have autonomy over their own projects. The catch is, it's easier for people to do if they either bring the money in themselves or they have to cater to an angel or a VC to bring in that cash. I don't actually believe that most startups are appropriate for VC, which is actually a bit of a controversial point in Silicon Valley, if you can imagine. It is startup land, but there's a reason why 9 out of 10 startups fail, and there are good and bad reasons why startups fail, but a lot of startup founders haven't always done their homework. They don't even know their own market, and that's a problem when you're actually looking to make money.
Yeah, sure. Eelco, could you be as innovative as you are now if you would be working for a large organization? Question was for Eelco.
What is the power of big IT companies like KPN, combining that with the assets and the skills that Layer has? Is it just cash, or is there something else as well that KPN or any big IT company could potentially offer to a company like Layer?
So you're asking me whether KPN can contribute something to us, to Layer?
Yeah, or even more extreme, should they buy you?
Well, no, or a big IT company. It's more in general. I'm seeing that you were the first mover, and being the first mover as Layer in augmented reality is quite a challenge because you don't have the monetization in place yet. So what can a big IT company add at that point to you? Just funds or anything else as well?
Well, we were funded, of course, by Intel Capital, the chip maker Intel in the US, and they indeed brought us a lot of money, 10 million, so they bought 7 million to be exact, in a round of 10 million. So that is really important to us, and of course they can bring, for example, Intel organizes Intel Capital Days where they invite their own network, so decision makers in very big other organizations who can help to create business, and of course network. Although we have always been very much networked ourselves, to be honest.
That's right. There you don't need a big IT company for, Claire.
No. So we.
But but what is the future? If we're talking and try to keep it compact, the answer. What is the future of Layer? Will it be an independent organization also in the future, or will it be part of a bigger structure like a big IT company or whatever company, maybe communication, media company, whatever? What's your strategy? Is it being strong on yourself or being part of a bigger whole?
Well, that's really hard to say at this moment in time. It really depends on how things will kick off in the near future. It may be that we well, first of all, let's get back that we got a couple of investors, and they will see in a couple of years from now they will want to return on their investment. So that may be through.
Is that the right partnership, Claire? Or do you want shareholders that are involved in the future of the company?
Well, we chose VC, so that's the route we chose.
So they want an exit.
Yeah, of course, they want an exit. So an exit can be a purchase by an acquisition by a large company, or it can be an IPO.
Well, an IPO?
Well, that can. Those are two exits.
That was 15 years ago. Don't do an IPO, please. No, that's the end of your company.
I'm not saying we're doing that, but there needs to be an exit at some moment in time.
You see the picture of Claire, like this.
Yeah, oh no.
Claire, wait a sec. Geert, how do you see that as a big organization? If you talk about innovation, the cooperation with, you know, the small startups, the really lean and mean, innovative organization, how do you work together?
Well, thank you. It's a very important area because that's where most of the value can be lost in terms of venture capital. In energy, it takes a long time before you have something from a proven technology to a world scale operation that actually makes a splash, that has an impact on consumers around the world. So you need scale, and so the startup often brings to us smart ways and fast ways of innovating, and what we bring to the table is our ability to scale up things to world scale, and really that's a unique skill that we have as Shell, and we've proven in the past as well through various technologies that came from our own laboratories in the past, like gas to liquids technology. We built a large plant in Qatar recently. So one is scale up. The other area is we bring connections to the startups, such as customers and relationships in key areas and key markets, and hence provide access to markets, which is very important to them, whether it's in the Middle East or in the Far East or Latin America or the US. You know, we have a network of partner companies and customers that we can bring to the startup, which is been very helpful to them. And I think another thing we bring to the table is access to technical resources that are quite vast for a startup. I mean, we have thousands of engineers and technology folks in Shell, and they all have specific areas of expertise, and bringing that collective brain power as an extension to the brain of the startup to the table is very valuable to them. So it's you know, it's the technical infrastructure, it's the connections to customers, to supply chain that we bring to the table in addition to money.
KPN, Stephan, how do you guys keep up with innovation? How do you keep track of the world of tomorrow?
Well, mostly by, of course, having a lot of contacts with third parties, small developers. As I said, we're now currently actively engaging with them via meetups and all kinds of events, seeing what happens. Like an Intel Capital Day, which was recently held here, where new companies are introduced to our marketing departments, to our technology departments, and have a good market scan of what's happening around us, and see where we should follow or where we should take a bit more the lead in the market. Finding out where we can differentiate ourselves from our competition, of course, and that's how we do it.
And how do you differentiate from the competition?
I think those are mainly our services. I think the introduction of Spotify, for instance, was a great success for us, and where we leverage the innovation power of Spotify and giving them access to our customer base, and that's a win-win for both. And for us, it's very important to keep our customers and to attract new customers to our networks. And in the end, that's what it's all about for us, having customers in our network.
Okay.
So that's how we do it.
Okay. Thanks. I got a sign that we've only got 2 minutes left, so I'm going to ask a question to a couple of you and try to give the answers fast. Okay, we can do a lot of content in the last 2 minutes. Claire, take a look at you and some other people I want to ask also. What's the next big innovation in communication in the next couple of years and media?
Well, the digital and the physical world will become one. So everything what we're used to doing in the digital space.
The Internet of Things.
Well, yeah, that's how it's also called. Well, you could call it interactive print, you could call it anything. But the things that we're used to doing in the physical space, sorry, in the digital space, linking, liking, sharing, etc., that will actually become one with the physical space. Sorry.
Desiree, what's in your opinion one of the most important trends in innovation for the next couple of years?
I think one of the things to look out for is actually, I think the nature of search is going to significantly change soon. I think natural language processing is on the edge of change. We've been working from a model of keyword search for a long time, and there are many businesses that are actually completely optimized around that. And advances in natural language processing that are starting to show in things like Siri with the Apple iPhone are going to advance even more and more quickly than we think.
Yeah, okay, thanks. And Geert, the next innovation in bio, I think is an important one, right? Because I was in a congress a couple of weeks ago that Jeroen van der Veer, ex-CEO of Shell, was even ambassador of a bio-based forum. How important is green and bio-based economy for Shell?
Well, it is important. We do invest a lot of money in biofuels. I think equally important is the development in unconventional gas in the US, where vast amounts of gas reserves have been found and are coming to market, making gas, which is a relatively clean hydrocarbon fuel, available at a low cost. And so being able to develop technologies that bring that gas to more valuable products that can be sold to our consumers is going to have a tremendous impact, and the whole exploration and development of unconventional gas in places like China and the US is going to have quite large geopolitical influences as well.
Thank you, Eelco. Your tip for entrepreneurs who are watching, if it's regarding innovation?
Very simple.
Make it a short one if you can.
In one sentence, reuse the current resources that we have. I think that a website like Airbnb represents innovation to the ultimate extent. It's social, it's people, they reuse apartments and houses all over the world. I think that is one of the key elements.
Yep, and the trust of strangers, I think, is a nice idea in Airbnb, because every skeptical would thought that it would never happen, and it happens. KPN, last words for you. What's your most important trend in innovation for tomorrow?
I think providing our customers an integrated user experience, so they can use whatever they like on any device, on any network, and that in a consistent way. That would be, I think, our main challenge and innovation for the next few years.
Desiree, Claire, Stephan, Geert, and Eelco, it's always an historical thing if you're doing something for the first time in your life. This was my first Google Hangout, and I'm so happy that I did it with you guys. Thank you very much, and thanks all the viewers for watching this Google Hangout. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.